What's good, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Race Coverage. This episode is another little special one as we're doing it live in our Discord. So a few of the Discord members, the Wacky Racing members, might dribble in and chat with us. But I've got the main two here with me. I've got Ryan and Dom. How are you both doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very good, thank you. Excited for another week of racing.
So
I'm excited for the race coverage rather than
this is your highlight of the week, of race week.
It's the only time I get to talk to people this week.
Yeah, sweet. Well, we'll start off with Monaco. Let's start off with you first, Ryan. You were actually there at Monaco, so how was it, man?
Yeah, I mean it was amazing, and since COVID and everything, obviously it was nice to see people, there supporting. I've got to say it was about 75% Ferrari fans, so I felt right at home, and I got soaked, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet it was that, like, not nervous, but that kind of excitement sitting there and waiting for it to start. Because obviously it started, and then obviously the red flag came out for it to unstart.
Well, it started raining, and everyone else kind of dashed inside to find cover. But I went all the way to Monaco, so I was stood there in the rain thinking, I'm just gonna wait. I mean, I'm here to see the racing, so I'm already wet. Who cares?
Yeah.
But then, it got delayed, and yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, I think Dom was telling me that it wasn't entirely the rain. There was some sort of power outage or something.
Well, on the I was watching it live, obviously, and then about 20 minutes in, I was like shouting at the TV, like, "Why aren't we getting started yet?" Apparently, I didn't find this out until after the race, but everybody, all the news channels I follow, started reporting this that when the rain hit during the national anthem just before the start, that caused a power outage for the start light procedure and seemingly nothing else. So they couldn't get it started because they couldn't get the lights to work, essentially. So they just waited, and then there was that downpour, and they were like, "Oh, well, we're here now." So they waited even longer. And even during the race, half of the reason, in addition to the rain, why they had rolling starts was also because exclusively the start light procedure wasn't working. Although the FIA didn't see fit to tell anyone apart from those who actually knew in race control.
So even by the time the race had got underway, the start lights still weren't working. No.
It still wasn't working. The start lights themselves worked. It was just the start light procedure, the countdown of the red lights, that wasn't working.
How bizarre.
Very bizarre.
Yeah.
It would have been prudent to mention it to someone, but that's just me.
Because I think you told me, Dom, that I found out they have their own race control, like Monaco. Is it Monaco?
Yeah, so obviously they still have their race control from the FIA, but their race direction that's shown on TV,
right,
that's all Monaco, and you can painfully tell. I didn't see the Russell overtake on Norris until the next morning.
No,
there wasn't even a replay of it.
Yeah, no, neither. Well, I didn't see it until we met up and you showed me, and that was a good couple days later. Yeah, exactly.
Did you hear Russell complain about that overtake not being shown on TV, and then Lando's response?
No.
Lando was basically like, Russell said that it was complaining that it didn't show a great overtake, and Lando went, Russell thinks that was a great overtake. Lando just seemed to think it was a pass because it was going faster.
Yeah.
Lando would just come out of the pits.
It was a nice little pass.
Yeah.
Better to have done it than not.
I was laughing that, rain stopped. Well, the rain calmed down. We started the race and everything seemed to go fine. And then Latifi crashes. And it's just going to be Latifi who crashes there. And no one else is. It just. And his excuses, the car wouldn't turn.
But every time he's crashed.
Funny.
Every time he's crashed this season, you can hear him on the radio go, "I don't know what happened," or "That wasn't my fault." And when you're saying that when you're crashing every session, that's not an amazing sign. I feel bad for the guy because he seems like a genuinely nice guy, based
Yeah.
on like the F1 videos he did on over lockdown, and then just his general demeanor and interviews. He seems like a genuinely nice guy. It's just a shame he's slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were watching the queue. I mean, it was me and my dad, and I go, watch this. Latifi's gonna crash on the outlap real quick. Sure enough, right into the wall. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, so funny. Honestly, that was my highlight for the race. The fact that we started it was all going fine. We finally started after waiting like a good hour. Crashes.
I mean, he's instantly 50 seconds behind everyone.
Yeah. So it was obviously quite a bad outcome for Ferrari and Leclerc. What was the problem there? Was it the strategy, or he just got fucked for coming in at the same time as Sainz, or?
So I don't think it was amazingly shown on TV because,
I didn't think.
Because Perez comes out ahead of both of them, and you're like, oh, what's happened there? What happened was that Sainz was obviously staying on the wets to go to the dries straight from the extreme wets, and he was ahead of ahead of Leclerc when Leclerc pitted for inters, and then the next lap they both pitted for slicks. So on their in lap, Sainz was still on the wets. Leclerc took about 4.5 seconds out of him on that in lap. So boxing basically, they boxed at the same time, and if they didn't, then it would have been a lot nicer. But I think pitting for inters kind of locked Leclerc in slightly to being behind Sainz once they both came in on the same lap. So it was poor strategy.
I was going to say just a bit of a shit show. That's what.
Yeah, it was a poor strategy, poorly executed, really.
Yeah.
Before that round of pit stops, how far was Leclerc ahead? He'd taken a good chunk out of everyone, hadn't he?
Yeah, taken quite a lot out, but everybody. It was one of those that just looked like he was checking out again. Like, what was it like before the DNF in Spain?
Yeah,
and then Australia, where he just checked out, where he was untouchable. I mean, it looked like that once again, and then.
Yeah, I was sat there in the stand thinking, well, there's not much that he can do to lose this win now. And then that round of pit stops happened. I saw Ferrari pit and I thought, oh, that's a bit risky, because it's my understanding that if you're leading the race like that, wouldn't you rather react to the other pit stops rather than try and undercut?
I think everybody was on the fence coming into it. Of the undercut was going to be more powerful than the overcut, so it was a bit on the fence. But
even though Leclerc was 10 seconds ahead, wouldn't you have thought it would have been better to just react?
Yeah, especially considering how long it takes these tyres to get up to temperature. Like half of your in lap is spent kind of sliding around, really, especially in the rain at Monaco on the hard tyres everybody was going to see out the race.
I've got to say, being there in real life, you could see how much they were struggling for traction, and I was opposite the pits on the last couple of corners, where it's not like a particularly slippy area, but wow, you could really see how wet it was, and I don't think that carries across on TV. It really was wet.
Yeah. And then you got to see Sainz's save on the big screen as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I know what it's like to drive in the wet. Honestly, F1 2021. Honestly, it's impossible. I need to turn up my traction. Yeah, I actually thought Sainz's drive wasn't like it was one of his better drives. I thought he did all right to get P2.
No, those last 10, 20
pushes,
laps,
yeah.
Or we're in the train. That was great, to be honest. That was actually really impressive.
Yeah, I thought he compared to his other races, like I said, I thought he drove well, and I think that them, like you said, them last 20 laps were really good racing, man. I thought Perez was sick. I was so gassed for him to actually finally get a well-deserved win, I would say.
Sainz as well, one of the best saves I've ever seen. That.
If it wasn't for that save, what are if let's say he just keeps going, what are the chances? Like, what do you guys think the chances are that he ends up overtaking and winning the race?
It looked like those used hards were outperforming Red Bulls. What was it, mediums towards the end?
They were on brand new.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand that used hard tactic at all. But by the end of the race, it looked like Ferrari were catching, like the mediums were falling off. And I think 5 or 10 laps more, and Ferrari probably would have taken it.
Yeah.
So without that save from Sainz, it's hard to say.
But even that, I don't necessarily think there's that spin from Sainz had a massive effect in the grand scheme of things, because he closed that gap up pretty quickly. Or equally, I think he only would have got past Perez by virtue of Perez's tires going off the cliff, but it was like marginal whether they were going to make it anyway, and it was fine because everybody made it. But it was just more of a characteristic of the track. Like, if they didn't have those tires, if like the Red Bulls went for hards as well, the exact same thing would have happened, and we would have seen the exact same thing would have happened.
Yeah.
What was the benefit of using the used hards rather than a new set? Is it
Well,
kind of turn them on? I don't know.
I think those hards, like the hards at Monaco, can go around, can do, like they could do the whole race distance. So I think and there was a bit of heat in them anyway, so not as in that way, but I think it was partly a switching on issue. I think they didn't want to go for the mediums because they were worried they'd get knackered out, and Red Bull only went for the mediums because they were worried that if it was a standing start, they didn't want to get done. Yeah. They didn't want to leave themselves open to getting done by the Ferrari. So I want to say, I've got no evidence of this or definitive proof, but it might have been their only set of hards left. They only get so many tyres.
Yeah.
And they don't get a lot of hards, particularly throughout the weekend. So I want to say that was their only one, because as you said, I would imagine they would have put on new hards if they had them.
Interesting.
Very interesting. I agree. I don't really understand all this. Like, I don't understand like the whole thinking about like the tires and stuff. Not just yet, anyway. But it seemed to it didn't seem to work out.
Well, even if they were on mediums, no one's getting past on this track with these cars. Like,
yeah,
we saw overtaken because it was wet and because there was disproportionate lap times from everybody. Like, you don't, in the dry, you don't see Gasly go up there, do a switchback to back on Ricciardo.
I was gonna say that Gasly a few overtakes, and then that was pretty much it. That's not the only action we've kind of seen from Gasly this season, really.
He had a really good race too. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, he had a stonking race. If they didn't bugger him up in quali, God knows where he would have been. It would have been. He would have probably. I think he would have been around Norris. Would have slotted in between Alonso and Norris.
I don't know if there's any. I don't know if there's any legitimacy to this, but I've heard people talking about him replacing Ricciardo.
I've heard a lot about that.
If you were Gasly, would you be second driver to Lando Norris, or would you be first driver at AlphaTauri?
He's leaving. He's leaving AlphaTauri either way. Apparently, he said to Helmut Marko that if he's not getting a Red Bull promotion, then he's off. So I think he'll want to be off regardless.
Could be a very poor decision.
But it's a bit of stagnation at AlphaTauri.
Where else is going to treat him as first driver?
I mean, but it's about having a car. You can be first driver based on pace. You just need a fast car, and you'd rather go to where you have a chance of having a fast car rather than being a de facto number one.
Because essentially, you essentially only drive, like, the opportunity that you get for driving for AlphaTauri is hopefully to obviously get promoted to the Red Bull then. Because other than that, AlphaTauri are not gonna. Well, it's very unlikely they're gonna win anything. You might win a race yourself here and there, but you only take that seat to get promoted to Red Bull, the main team. And then if that's not the case, then I don't really see a point in staying. But
if there was a time for AlphaTauri to make the point that Gasly should be saying because this is the right place, this season was it, and they kind of stayed in the same place, I think.
Yeah, which
is just kind of middling.
Yeah,
not bad.
But do you really see Tsunoda go into Red Bull? Do you really see him take No, neither.
No.
He's way too temperamental. Christian Horner's not. No one in that team's going to want to deal with him. He's so temperamental. I mean, obviously, if he matures a lot, I think that the possibility's there. But there's a lot more. There's a lot of decent young Red Bull drivers that they might be more leaning towards to put in, like Yuri Vips, Liam Lawson.
What's Yuki's contract at the minute? not
24?
sure that we were going to see him here, to be honest.
I think it's 2024, I want to say.
Oh, really?
Right.
Got another year of him then.
You sound disappointed.
No. I actually like Sonoda. I think he's a decent driver, but yeah, I think I liked it more once Drive to Survive came out, the new season. He was just funny. He's just a very good character. So
Yeah, he's got a good personality, and it's always a good personality on the grid. And plus, we're probably losing Ricardo, so we'll have a personality vacuum.
was it before Monaco, or after Monaco, that Perez got a new contract?
It was just after, but it was fine. It was all signed and done before Monaco.
Oh, was
and
it?
then there
It came out after Monaco,
Monaco.
yeah. Because obviously, it looked like he won Monaco. Fucking give him a contract, obviously, because we found out after. But of course, that wasn't the case. So.
Well, just before they went up to the podium, Perez turned to Christian Horner on TV and was like, "I signed way too soon."
That is. Should ask for more after Monaco.
Yeah.
Should it be? Yeah, that is funny.
The funny thing is, the week before, I think it was me and Cookie that were speaking about second drivers and how we wonder what Perez is going to do, if he's going to leave, if he keeps getting treated like shit. And then Monaco happens, and now suddenly the big talk is Perez for WDC. Everyone thinks he's in the fight for champion now. It's amazing how quickly he can turn it around.
Yeah. It's literally it's like I think in that episode we were talking about how much of an impact the media has, but like as soon as Perez wins a race, which is of course if you didn't watch F1, you consider him the first driver. Do you know what I mean? You've got all this like praise and stuff about Perez, but yeah, it is wild how it just like kind of flips the table once one person wins.
You should have seen the Mexican fans in Monaco. There was a lot of them.
That was sick.
Yeah, they're a very passionate group of fans, and that must have been amazing for them. So yeah, it was nice to see that win.
I was actually. This seems like a very occurring thing. I was gonna come in and say Russell had another. I think he had another good drive getting P5, but I think you only consider that a good drive because you've still got this. What am I trying to say? This image that Mercedes have kind of like dropped off, but they seem to be coming back a little bit. And yeah, I thought he drove well to get P5.
He's driving great. I'm really, really enjoying watching Russell drive.
Yeah. He did well.
Just hard to know whether he's outperforming the car or whether Lewis is underperforming. It's like we need one more person to get in that Mercedes and see how they do, so that we have a better baseline.
And then we can recall the best.
Who do you guys think the replacement is if Lewis retires?
Tough one. I mean, I think Lando eventually.
Yeah. I think Lando. No, this isn't like an expressive desire, but like if I was Mercedes, who's realistically available and who's the best out of them? Definitely Norris. I could see Norris done quite well in that Mercedes team.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think, Tim?
I was thinking Norris definitely makes sense. If Pierre chooses to leave and Norris doesn't want to get out, what do you think the chances Pierre goes to Mercedes?
I don't know if they go on. Like I think I can't in a few episodes, quite a few episodes of race coverage before. We were talking about Gasly going to somewhere else, but it's just that like I think it was Albon going to somewhere else after Williams because he was driving well, and I think it's the same with Gasly in the sense that like they already seen him in a big team, Gasly, and he flopped. Why would you take that chance when you could maybe take the chance on someone who is doing well like Lando?
Yeah, I'd say Ocon's ahead of the queue than Gasly, to be honest with you. Wow. Not in the sense of like just because of his Mercedes tyres more than anything, and he has been having a fairly decent season.
Yeah. I just think that, seeing them already flopped in kind of the big C, would you take that risk again? And I think Ryan said that, and I think I do agree with it. Like, you might as well take a risk on someone else.
On maybe like someone from F2, or it depends. It depends how far down the line when we're talking. If it's a
Yeah.
few years down the line where Russell is a bit more of a mature driver and less of a rookie, then they'll probably just take some fresh meat.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
It will be. It will be interesting.
I don't think Lewis is going to stop until he gets one more championship anyway.
It seems that way, doesn't it? In the sense that, like, all the backlash that he has just makes it seem like he just wants it even more. He just wants to prove everyone wrong even more and just kind of stick around. And, you know, I mean,
when he's got one more, he's got everything. He's got every possible achievement ever. So I think he just needs that closure.
Push for it.
And then I kind of hope he gives up after that if he gets one more.
Even if he doesn't get one more, I think he just wants another crack at one.
Yeah.
What he does, what he can do when he does get a crack at one. So I think he just wants more than anyone, just for Mercedes to actually get together. And like, I'd say next season is what we're looking at, but I can't see him leaving before next season as well. So we are definitely talking about the end of the contract. But there's so much time in between that. Like Mercedes just rock up at Belgium after the summer break with the fastest car. We just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How long is the summer break?
I think it's end of July to end of August.
Oh, right, okay.
Maybe mid-July. When's Hungary? Like, I want to say like 20th or something.
My weekends are already boring enough when it's like the race weekend.
No, it's just hot and boring.
Go-karting memberships sorted.
Mm-hmm. We actually need to go go-karting again. That I'm itching. That was super fun.
Yeah. I won't get a black flag next time.
And you won't argue with the.
I won't spend 5 of my 30 minutes arguing with the steward for why
it wasn't your fault.
Understandably, let's say that. Understandably got black flag. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to go again for sure. So Monaco, I've got a few more notes. Do we want to talk about Alonso controlling the race? I thought that was funny, but also like he kind of was controlling the tempo of the race at a certain point. Just semi-boring, but also like
as long as he's keeping himself entertained in his old age, that's the one problem.
Yeah. Every interview I see Alonso outside of F1, like I watched this go-karting series, and he genuinely believes that wants to go for another championship.
I think
do you think he has it in him? As in, like, just for example, say he was given like a really good car, really fast car. Do you really think he has it in him to get another championship?
I think he'd give it a very good go. I'd love to see it. I'd absolutely love to see that. I mean, if he had a bit more luck on his side, he'd be having a completely different season. Yeah. We'd be completely reconsidering how he is driving. So I think put him in a good car, and I think he'll reward you for that. I mean, like, he's out driving Ocon most times.
Whether or not he could, though, any team that had that car would be investing in developing a young driver to be there, right? Like, no one's gonna give that car to Alonso, I don't think, who's probably got a few years in him.
No, you're right. 100%.
So yeah, it's like, obviously we were talking theoretically, but I just don't think that will ever happen.
Yeah,
I know that's what makes it even more upsetting.
It is, yeah, because he, like you said, I've had him in my fantasy for quite a few weeks now, and like it's just luck it isn't on his side. I feel like I'd very much up the table if it wasn't for his bad pot of luck.
You trying to send Fernando Alonso a hidden message there?
Yeah.
Luck is another thing, though, that everyone who has their favourite driver will say they're so unlucky, and to a certain extent, you create your own luck.
Yeah,
but I feel like a lot of what's happened to Alonso has been outside of his control, more so than others. But yeah, obviously there is that cliche that everybody's unlucky. It's just a point of view.
I said I got good race from Norris, finishing P6, but of course we kind of talked about Norris. And then you were actually in front of the Schumacher crash, weren't you, Ryan?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was looking forward at the time. I heard a huge noise to my right, it was very, very loud, and I saw a car in too. I stood up to take some photos, and one of the marshals kind of ushered us to put our phones down. They're very kind of anti you taking photos,
Oh, really?
and it wasn't even from like I don't know. He'd already we knew he was fine, so it wasn't that they didn't think he was dead and that we were taking photos. They just I don't know. It seems like they don't want photos of a crashed car for whatever reason.
Oh, well, that is strange. Yeah, considering if you knew he was fine, I don't see. You see it on
No.
TV.
I know.
They show you everything on TV, so yeah. And then
And then the car got lifted off by a crane. I don't know if they show that, but got some
that was
cool photos of the car in midair.
good fun. I always love seeing cars suspended in midair at Monaco. It's one of the best places for it. Really, it's great. I love those onboards where the car's like 20 meters in the air and the onboard's still on and connected to the
Have
feet.
they done that? I've seen that.
I've not seen. I didn't see it with Schumacher's because obviously there was no car left to record footage. But I've seen it with Raikkonen's car when he crashed at the lowest hairpin a few years ago. That was great.
I seen a TikTok actually of Kimi crashing at a Monaco race, and then he just dips to his boat after. He just like goes into his little private
Iconic moment.
Yeah, that's good. I think
we tried to blag our way onto a yacht to watch the race from. It's four grand a head to stand on someone else's yacht for the day.
To have a worse view than the ticket you paid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Unless you guys can think of anything else, but I think we kind of covered Monaco.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
A lot happened, but not too much happened.
Another great drive from Seb.
Yeah.
Where did he finish?
He was 11th on the road and then got promoted to 10th after Ocon's penalty. Oh yeah, what did you think of Ocon's penalty?
God, I can't even remember it now. Can you explain
Him
it?
and Lewis touching tips in turn one. Just like Ocon moved over on the right and then took off the end plate of Lewis's front wing, and then he got a 5-second penalty, and he was screaming about favouritism on the post-match radio.
5 seconds. It does seem a bit harsh.
It seemed a bit harsh, but there's no. But it's even worse in Monaco when you don't give people space because there's literally no space if you don't.
Yeah.
He was basically. It was like he was gonna get a warning if it was on the game. Like it wasn't. Hamilton didn't do anything wrong. Ocon did move over on him. To be fair, a bit harsh, but don't give him a reason then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we can kind of move on to Monaco, and it's just Azerbaijan predictions. What do we think is going to happen in that race? Who wants to go first?
I mean, this week Ferrari have to turn it up, so I'm going to put my full faith in them and say Charles first, Sainz second, and oh fuck it, Perez third.
What? Max is just not even the equation.
No, I don't want to hear his name.
I don't know why, but I think Russell's gonna get a win. That's my opinion.
Russell's part of mine as well. Nice. I think I want to see some good stuff from Russell now.
Yeah,
five.
It's just it's bound to come. I think with the performances he's been putting in, it's bound to come, and why not?
It's bound to come as when does the big Red Bull Ferrari collision happens and he's there to sweep up.
Yeah,
I'm not sure it's bound to come based off merit, but I'd like to see it either way.
Perfectly bringing me on to my prediction is I'm saying podium Perez win, Russell, Alonso, Leclerc, Max collision.
Did Perez win last year?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I watched Baku last year on Lake Windermere, and completely disrupted the boat tour when when Lewis went straight on from a restart.
Yeah.
All you could hear was me shouting whilst they were telling you about the heritage of Lake Windermere.
I'm just
No?
I just look as well. It was Perez, then Gasly. No, Vettel, then Gasly. Sorry.
Yeah. And then Seb said, "Congratulations to Checo, Feliz Navidad," which is Merry Christmas, obviously, in Mexico.
What do you think?
Tim, what's your predictions?
What do you reckon, Tim? What's your prediction for Sunday?
Yep. I Verstappen DNF. I feel like is inevitable. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Perez win. Leclerc, Sainz 2 and 3.
Ooh, another Perez win. Imagine if he just
I
keeps the
believe
ball
it.
rolling and just actually gets wins after wins after wins and actually takes
I'm
that
saying
championship.
I'm saying now, this is the weekend he asserts himself or completely removes himself from the running of titles.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about yourself, Swally? You're here, man.
I think that 1-2 for Ferrari will be nice,
Yeah,
and
of
the
course.
third Russell.
Yeah,
I think,
Nice.
and Max and Checo DNFs.
into each other.
I hope for a bit.
Yeah, we got Ferrari fanboys in here. Of course, it's gonna be Ferrari ones.
Yeah.
Big ups. Let's paint the city red this Sunday.
Is that a threat?
Chances we see Perez into the back of Verstappen like 2018.
Yeah, like 2018. Yeah, yeah, that would be true.
Nice. Should be a good one.
It should be.
I hope so.
Be a good one. I don't. Is anything? There's one thing I wanted to ask about. So, both Boiler Tim and Swally, we've got update for the fantasy that we can bring in, and that's essentially you deploy your fantasy team every week. So instead of your fantasy team, Swally actually suggested this in the suggestions.
Yeah.
So you actually have to deploy your team every week instead of it just being there. So obviously we've got some pretty cool prices for the fantasy. So this is kind of a way to actually reward people who are actually active in the Discord. Do you think we should actually bring that update in or keep it as it is?
I think that would be a great addition with some of the prizes and rewards you can get from winning and all that stuff. I absolutely think that's worth it.
Yeah. And I'm guessing
I think the same, because it will be nice for who are very active in the server.
Yeah, so if that's it. Go on, Ryan.
No, it's just, I mean, we will be ramping up our promotion efforts soon, so there is going to be more people coming through to the Discord, and obviously we have you as our OGs who are kind of like the guinea pigs. So yeah, just basically whatever you guys think is going to work best, you know. You're the ones who've helped us build it, so
yeah.
I
go on, Boiler Tim. Sorry.
I think you would be. I do think trying it is definitely worth it. I think it's worth a try.
Yeah, I think the same. We'll bring it in and then just see what everyone's kind of take on it is. But I think it's a good update, so we will bring it in for next race, not for Azerbaijan. Fuck, I can't say that. I can't say that. But yeah, we won't. Yeah, Baku. Yeah. We won't bring it in for that, but we will bring it in for next race, which is I don't know what it is.
Race. I have it pulled up right here. One sec. Canada.
Yeah.
No.
So we'll bring it in for them, and yeah, we'll also try and be very. I don't know if this is something that we can actually ask to get developed with it, but like a sort of reminder. Maybe that's something that we'll just have to do as a little announcement every week to actually remind people to do it. But
I mean, the one thing I want to avoid is, you know, people forgetting to do it and then thinking, that's it, I've missed a week, I'm out of the fantasy league. The point.
Yeah. So maybe if we do like a little reminder every week as well. But
yeah.
Perfect.
Sounds cool.
That was actually all I wanted to talk about the project itself. Yeah, we appreciate you guys actually coming in and chatting to us for the race coverage. It brings a little different dynamic to it than just me, Ryan, and Dom. We appreciate you guys coming in and chatting with us. We'll actually do this live coverage more often, I think. We actually record the episodes on Discord anyway, so...
Makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd like it.
Yeah, you can always just come into the race coverage and do them then. So
Maybe we'll do a little fuel drops or something to the race coverage to get a few more here. Maybe a little fuel reward for tuning in, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I like that.
I'd love it because I need some fuel.
In the casino, man.
Don't worry, you're gonna need fuel when we load up this shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay tuned.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think we can
Nice
end it
one,
there.
boys.
Yeah. We appreciate you coming through. And this will be uploaded onto YouTube tomorrow. If
Sweet.
I'll catch you
Nice
guys
one.
later. Appreciate you
See
coming
you
through again, Dom.
Anytime.
Of course. Right, catch you guys in a bit.
Bye.
Bye.
That's fine.
See you guys.
See you later.